Welcome, I'm Cleona Patterson at efluentenglish.com. In this video, we're going to look at texts that I found on the internet, on the website of the Economist. The Economist is a fantastic website. It will really help you with your academic writing. If you're preparing for the IELTS test, the academic test, you need to go to this website. Task 1. You may be given a chart or a graph to write about. You have about 20 minutes to do this. The first thing you need to do is to study the graph. Look at the title of this one. Poles depart. Poles, the Polish people? Yeah? You can see the word EU referendum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 lines. You can see the names down the side. Here you've got a scale of thousands. So it's 50,000, 100,000. This is a scale down the side. You can see the source, the Office for National Statistics. And along the bottom, the horizontal axis, you've got the years 2007 to 2017. So that's a 10-year period. Then we can quickly look at the map. EU groupings. Okay, so each line represents a group and they have a number. EU 15, EU 8, EU 2, other members. And there's the map. Very quickly, I have to look at the horizontal and vertical axis. I've got to look generally at what the lines are doing. Yes, they're fluctuating, but generally they start high, they go down in the middle, they come back up again, and they're going down. Can you see this line? 2016, this is a critical point when they start dropping again. I have to look for a couple of minutes and really understand all of that before I even start to think about writing. This is like in task 2, the planning stage. Yeah, I have to collect my thoughts, understand what the graph represents, and generally what has happened during a 10-year period. Why am I recommending The Economist? Professionals have written these texts. They're professional journalists. The quality of the text is very high. Study them carefully. Let's read it together. Britain's latest net migration figures, brackets, immigration minus immigration. Remember, immigration is in, immigration is out, and together you have the migration figures. It's very important that you use the correct words. The writers put the brackets to define exactly what they mean by migration figures. Suggests that the country's vote to leave the European Union is taking a toll. Taking a toll. That means having an effect. It is affecting what's happening. That first sentence is the topic sentence. It opens the paragraph and it tells me, generally in a statement, what this description is about. What's the topic? Second sentence. The net migration number for the year to March 2017 was 246,000, down by 81,000 compared with a year ago. Look at the structure of that sentence. The net migration number for the year to March 2017 was 246,000. So this is a statement. The first half of the sentence tells me what, when, how many. There's a comma. Down by 81,000. Down by. This is an expression you can use again and again. Down by how much? 81,000. Compared with a year ago. Can you see how concise that language is? Take that expression, write it down. You will use it again and again in IELTS Task 1. The numbers will change, but the way you write the statement will not. It could be up by 81,000. Here it's down by 81,000. Compared with a year ago, compared with 2 years ago, compared with 5 years ago. You can change and play with the numbers. That is probably a result of far fewer migrants arriving on Britain's shores from Eastern Europe, a trend that is also reflected in a 21% decline in the number of national insurance numbers issued to Europeans since last summer. In this sentence, the Economist tries to explain why the numbers have gone down. In IELTS, you don't do this. You just simply talk about the numbers. You describe the numbers. You don't explain why. However, in this example, you can look closely at the grammar and the expressions that are used. That is probably a result of far fewer migrants, far fewer, arriving on Britain's shores from Eastern Europe, a trend that is also reflected in a 21% decline. Decline is like a fall, so this is a synonym. 21% decline in the number of national insurance numbers issued to Eastern Europeans since last summer. The falling value of the pound, slowing down, and the country's apparent hostility to foreigners may explain Britain's declining appeal. Again, these are all reasons. This is the writer hypothesizing, trying to explain why there's a fall in number. You don't need to do that in IELTS Task 1. But my net migration figures should be taken with a pinch of salt. There's an excellent expression. Pinch of salt. I'll make a video on that for you. Should be taken. There's a recommendation. A modal should be taken. They are based on a tourism survey that began in the 1960s and are surprisingly unreliable. This has done little to lessen their political power, however. The second half of this paragraph is the writer trying to explain, to comment on the numbers. What I want you to do is just to study the part that actually describes the numbers. Okay, you can go back to this website at any time. In the description below this video, I'll put the link. Have a look at lots and lots of descriptions of graphs. Pick out useful expressions, write them down, and when you're practicing the task 1, the academic task 1, use those expressions again and again. Thanks for listening. This is Cleona at efluentenglish.com. Subscribe if you would like more free videos. Go to my website and sign up. Subscribers get lots of special deals on my e-courses. They get tips and videos and free lessons every few days. Sign up on my website, efluentenglish.com. Bye-bye.